All right. Welcome you all to another discussion of our essay series in motor physiology. And today we are going to be writing an essay on Parkinson's disease. This is a short little question for likely 5 or 10 marks. Okay. So, and this is the outline I want you to work with. I want you to define what Parkinson is, and then I want you to talk about the pathophysiology. Then you now discuss the clinical features or clinical manifestations. And there are four of them, four different clinical manifestations. And for these manifestations, we have akinesia, we have rigidity, we have postural difficulty, and we have basic tremor, something like P square RAD, something like PRAD, but PRA with double P arrow A, which P stands for postural difficulty. Next P, passive tremor, arrow, rigidity or some say rigor, and then akinesia. Postural difficulty, some others can also call it vague. All right. So let's begin. What will be a definition of Parkinson's disease? You say that Parkinson's disease is a disease of the central nervous system. Yes, it's a disease, not a disease that will affect any other part. It's a disease that affects the central nervous system, and that is a very good one to start with. And then the pathophysiology now follows it. Now, what would you write about the pathophysiology? For pathophysiology, I think I'm going to draw for you that diagram I had done. If you want to really learn about the if you want to learn about the basal ganglia in detail, you can watch the other videos which I had done already. Now, if you have a diagram like this, the parental lobe, the temporal lobe, parental lobe, temporal lobe, then the midbrain. In the midbrain, we have a structure called substantia nigra. Substantia nigra. And then somewhere here, let me put something like this. We have a lentiform nucleus like this. And the lentiform nucleus is having this portion here. And this portion has a part called the putamen and a part called the caudate nucleus. Together, they are called the corpus striatum. Together, they are called the corpus striatum. So when we say that a person has an Parkinson's, what's the problem? The problem is that the connection between the substantia nigra and the corpus striatum for the release of substance called dopamine is absent. That's the basic behind it. That this particular fiber, this fiber, some people call it dopaminergic fiber because it releases dopamine. And other people call it nigrostriatal fiber because it runs from the nigra, substantia nigra, to the striatum, corpus striatum. So we say nigrostriatal fiber or dopaminergic fiber are damaged and do not release dopamine. Are we together? So that's the pathophysiology you are going to say. So the pathophysiology, you are going to say that this person has either damage to dopaminergic fiber in bracket, nigrostriatal fiber, and the release of dopamine is what inhibited. And you should know that if you watch that video on the basal ganglia, the putamen circuit, you get to see that it is the connection between substantia nigra and the corpus striatum that serves as the initiation for what we see in the putamen circuit. Now let's quickly go to the features. The first feature here, akinesia. Akinesia, number one thing you are going to see in a person that has akinesia, you are not going to be visiting their point form. Okay. Number one, this person is going to have absence of movement. Absence of movement. Now, by absence of movement, you can easily say poverty of movement. Okay, so poverty is not only about money, poverty can also be in movement. Secondly, this person also can even have bradykinesia. There is still some little movement there, but movement is lower. And if there is a slower movement, it can change the gait of that person. We call it a shuffling gait. A shuffling gait. Now, what happens again? The person blinks even quite less often. Blinks less often. Now, if they blink less often, it will give this person a lifeless or an apathetic look. A lifeless or an apathetic look. So quickly remember, Absence of movement, bradykinesia, shuffling gait, blinks less often, and the person shows a lifeless and apathetic look. Now, for other of the features, you can explain. Rigidity means that there is a difficulty in the way the muscles are going to move, even when joint movement is still possible. So the muscles are so stiff. There is stiffness in muscles, so it's also otherwise called rigor. Then for postural difficulty, otherwise called vague, it is still about pointing towards shuffling gait, but the whole posture, the person does not have a straight posture, so that posture is still shaky here. And then passive tremor is that shaky movement that we see at rest. Tremor, passive tremor, otherwise called tremor at rest, or some say rest tremor, rest tremor. Now, quite necessary again for MCQ. Tremor that is seen at rest is seen in basal ganglia, especially Parkinson's disease. Tremor that is seen when movement occurs, otherwise called intention tremor, is seen in a lesion of the cerebellum. So it's very important you remember that. Are we together? So it's very important you note that passive tremor is seen at rest, while the intention tremor is seen when we are doing movement. And passive tremor is a problem of the basal ganglia, specifically Parkinson's disease, while intention tremor is a problem of a lesion in the cerebellum. So, good luck in your next exam as you have these questions. Supposedly, if you care to see this question, I really wish you a retentive memory and you do your best there. Do have a nice time. Endeavor to like, endeavor to subscribe, endeavor to share, endeavor to leave a comment there, as that will please my heart. Thank you.